welcome back to the Ashes Debrief. Feels like we haven't done one of these for such a long time. I'm here with Isha Guha and Phil Tufnell. Before we start, I must say we're not in a bunker. It's absolutely hosing it down outside. So play had stopped early with England 211 for 3. Isha, firstly, not a bad day for England.
Not a bad day for England. It's come a little bit too late though, which I think is a frustration for all the England fans watching. All the Barmy Army were piping up after lunch. They were getting really stuck into it with that Joe Root and Harry Brook partnership. At 3 for 57 in the first session, we were thinking, oh, not so sure. But the fact that they've been able to put a partnership together has been really, really good. And it is bittersweet because you're thinking, oh, why couldn't they have done this earlier on in the series? But it has given the fans plenty to get excited about.
We might have found a good pitch.
Yes.
You know, England won the toss, decided to have a bat. It's always going to be a bit of a tricky sort of period, that first session. Australia bowled pretty well, got the 3 wickets, and then it flattened out a little bit, and the 2 guys from Yorkshire put on a fantastic partnership.
The one thing that we know is not going to happen is Joe Root is not going to get snicked off in the Channel because there's a real lack of bounce here at the SCG. So if you look at a lot of the shots he's played, he's been happy to get back and just guide that down to third. It's been a big scoring area for him in his innings.
And I've never spoken so much about mills of grass
over
the last couple of weeks.
And the curator.
Yeah. Apparently there's only 5 mills of grass on this one.
It's not a drop-in wicket either.
No.
Yep.
So good toss to win for England. Hopefully it'll break up a little bit as the game goes on.
New year, new rankings. Joe Root, Harry Brook are number 1 and 2 in the world in Test cricket. How important was this partnership for England, having lost those 3 early wickets?
Hugely important, because what we've seen throughout the series has been 3 wickets fall quickly, and then every time a partnership gets going, there's another wicket to fall, and then Ben Stokes has to come in to really kind of get them out of a big hole. So the fact that they've been able to kind of put something together has been really important. We haven't seen the best of Harry Brook in this series yet, and Joe Root, with all his experience, hasn't been consistent enough. So for those reasons, I think, you know, this will just give them that extra boost to, you know, at an end of a series where it has been disappointing. Yeah,
it has. Tuffers, there's one conversation that we'll be having for probably many years, the fact that throughout this Ashes series there's barely been a spinner in sight.
I know.
Andrew McDonald, the Australian head coach, said Australia would more than likely play a spinner here at the SCG. There's no Todd Murphy, obviously no Lyon. England have gone with Will Jacks, not Shoaib Bashir. Why is that, do you think? Why no spinners playing?
A pitch is simple as that. They've gone for, both sides have almost gone for specialists number 8s, haven't they? In Bo Webster, who's probably there for his batting, the same as Will Jacks. Just down to the pitches, you know, Australia have left that little bit more grass on it, and it is that indifferent bounce as well. But yeah, it's a worry. It's a worry. I mean, I'm a spin bowler. I love watching spin. I love commentating on spin. You know, it's engrossing and it's part of the game, the balance of the side. That's what cricket's all about. So it is a little bit concerning for the youngsters. I mean, where would the young Shane Warne have had his role model, you know, or the young Phil Tufnell? Yeah. You know, I love watching spin on the telly, and that's what you aspire to be. So it is a little bit concerning. It's just going to be down to the pitches. You're going to have to prepare pitches where the spinners come into it later on in the game.
At the same time, with a bit of heat on this surface, I imagine it probably will break up a bit more. We know that it can crack up a bit, and yeah, there was a time during that partnership where I thought, oh, actually they might want to go to the spinner just to have a look. They've got Travis Head for England, they've got Will Jacks, but it's not really a frontline spinner, is it? No. First time in 125 years they haven't fielded a proper spinner.
1888, it was around the time Jack the Ripper was around.
Oh, right.
So the last time Australia did not play a spinner here at the SCG.
Not Jack the Spinner, Jack the Ripper.
But what does it say for young kids? Because I know when I was growing up, Tuffers, I actually watched you play cricket a lot. I then watched Monty Panesar play, but loving left arm spin, wanting to be the next Phil Tufnell. Who's going to be the next
on the field?
On the field, yeah,
absolutely.
You know,
well, I know what you mean. It's a genuine concern. Where do you do? I think now they just look. If the pitch is going to break up, they're thinking to themselves now. Sides, if we have this sort of battery of fast bowlers, if it's going to break up, well, it's going to go low. And so they think to themselves, right, we'll just pack the bat in at the back end, and we can almost get away with a part timer, which will be. What could be the death of spin bowling, you know. As you said, you want to see someone there, you know, like Shane Warne when he came on to bowl. The place just, you know, all eyes were on it. It was mesmerising. And at the moment now, we're not seeing that. And if Nathan Lyon, you know, he hasn't played a lot, okay, because he's been injured, but he also hasn't bowled a lot. If Nathan Lyon can't get in this Australian side with over 500 test wickets, good luck when the other spinner trying to get in.
England batting first, and I'm just wondering who's going to take those final 10 wickets in the fourth innings. You know, is it going to be the seam bowlers that get the job done? They haven't got Gus Atkinson, they haven't got that extra pace. They've got Matthew Potts coming in, who's a workhorse bowler. They've got Ben Stokes, who can take wickets. But Will Jacks, are they going to try and rely on him with a bit of spin?
Does it show, just finally on spin bowling, because I could talk about it forever, does it show that England and Australia don't trust what's coming through, in the fact that Bashir's not playing and neither is Todd Murphy when you've not got Lyon, for example?
Well, I think they're thinking, what kind of impact are they going to have?
Yeah.
What kind of impact, you know, are they going to have on the game? And as Isha says, their last innings, that is where the spinner comes into his own.
And that's where Bashir, they have backed him to take wickets. He's a wicket-taking bowler. He's the fastest or the youngest to 50 wickets, test wickets for England. But you know, they clearly don't trust him enough. He will go for runs. There's no question of that. We have seen that. We've seen at home, and there's generally one bad ball at an over, and Australia will look to take care of that. They've got some brilliant players of spin. But who's going to take your wickets for you? And I think they've got three bowlers. So Stokes, Carse, Potts are all very similar bowlers.
Yep.
Potts and Carse, very similar bowlers. So who is going to be that person that's going to grab you those wickets?
And also, you know, spin bowlers, we can take wickets on green tops.
I know, we can.
If you're good enough, you can get them out. But it's almost like, oh, there's a little bit of grass on it, don't even think about the spin bowler.
Was it not Warney that used to say, if it seems, it spins?
Well, absolutely, that was the only way you would get the game. That's why you have to do a little bit of bluff, a little bit of kidology to get yourself on.
There's one more person I feel so sorry for during this test match, and it is the curator, the groundsman. All eyes have been on him since we've had the 2-day test in Perth, the 2-day test in Melbourne. The poor bloke's been sat on his roller for hours and hours. He's been mowing it, he's been watering it. Is there too much pressure on the groundsman for this test match?
I love it. It just gives us another talking point, doesn't it? You know, we want to know how many mil of grass is going to be on there. 2 days out, I think it was 7 millimetres. Then it got drummed to 5 millimetres. It was about 10 at the MCG, so he's shaved that in half. Yeah. Usually it's just to keep that pitch together. I've seen this SCG pitch the last couple of years. When it bakes down, it can crack up, and it can get a lot harder to bat on. Sometimes the uneven bounce comes into play as well. So, yeah, I feel for the curators. Matt Page came out and he was, you know, he was very honest about his assessment. He was devastated after day one.
Pushed him out.
Get out there, pal.
But I don't know how you feel about getting a pitch marked down compared to the first pitch in Perth. Because that wasn't probably the greatest of pitches.
No, well, absolutely. That was all patted on the back for Perth. That was over in 2 days. It does, you know.
That was rated very good.
Absolutely. Now, how do you measure grass? Is there a little grass sort of ruler or
Do you have a
something?
ruler? Yeah, I imagine so.
Tuppers, not much has happened today. Obviously, Root being 72 not out, Brook being 78 not out, England 211 for 3. I want to get inside your brain. What's your favourite stories from playing here at the SCG?
Oh, SCG, I had my hat trick dropped. Oh. What a hat trick it would have been as well. It would have been Alan Balder, Dean Jones and Steve Waugh. Oh, I don't know whether you get much better than that, actually. Hard chance. It was a difficult chance, David Gower at Silly Point. Also, took a magnificent catch here. Which I won the classic catch of the summer. Yes, I won 2 of them, actually. One at Adelaide and one here. I think I got a live supply of fried chicken or something, but that was a big memory. So it was great to come back here, and I saw myself on the honours board with my 5 for as well. Second test match, wonderful ground. You look at the ground and it's got the old pavilion, hasn't it, and the picket fence and what have you. One of my favourite places.
This would also be the perfect room for you to have a little nap.
Well, yes, listen, I can have a kip in any room.
Yeah.
Now,
The lighting's good.
before we get to the Ask Me Anything, which is where you guys can send your questions, Isha, this week it's been announced that you've got an MBE.
Oh, yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You must be so chuffed.
Look, you never kind of set out to win awards or, be acknowledged like that. So, look, it's just, it's nice for my parents, My dad is here in Australia, he's absolutely loving it, and also for the charity Take a Lead. You know, if it raises awareness for that, then that's great. But I'm just catching up with our many fellow commentators in the commentary box.
When you got the letter to say you've got an MBE, what did you think? What did you feel? What were your emotions?
Dad actually sent it out because he'd opened the letter. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. He'd opened my letter and he'd sent it out to Australia to say this is what's happened. So yeah, look, at a huge honour. You know, to be recognised for, you know, playing the game and obviously being involved in supporting others to try and get involved in cricket is pretty cool.
Very, very humble. I'd be wearing a sign or something if I got an MBE. Right, it's time for the Ask Me Anything. Don't forget to scan the QR code that is going to be on the back of my book now. This is Andy in Sale. He wants to know, do cricketers get performance bonuses like footballers?
I used to get a jug of beer if I got a fiver in
Yeah,
my time.
you always try to avoid the
I
jug.
know. Well, no, the team used to. If you got a five for 100 when you played, you sort of like got a jug of beer in the pub afterwards. I think they do. They do from bat sponsors and sort of their sponsors that might be in, but you know there are players' pools and things like that. But whether you've actually got sort of specific bonuses from the team, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. So it's interesting because Australia, we know they have KPIs, so they always have a KPI for number of partnerships they want, number of hundreds they want in a series, that kind of thing. I think this England team, it's more about what can you do to get the team the win, and so it's less about kind of those KPIs, which, you know, maybe they do need to think about
What's
it.
a KPI?
Key performance indicator.
There you go. Key performance indicator. We used to have them playing cricket for England, but I forgot what it was.
It all goes in the pot, I think, with this England side. I think
Yeah.
everything sort of goes in the pot and then is divvied up at the end. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad way.
Yeah, we definitely didn't.
And anyway, I don't think I would have been getting any for hundreds anyway, so I wouldn't have been holding
Maybe
your
none
breath.
for 100.
Yeah, none for 100.
There you go.
It's happened once a time.
Three
Once a
generations, no performance. They said performance enhancing pay rises there, but that works as well. Phil Tufnell, Isha Guha, MBE, thank you very, very much. Don't forget the highlights are on the iPlayer from 5 p.m. It's raining, play was called off early, but we'll be back tomorrow.